are welcome to the Messiah Revelation channel, End Time Prophetic channel, dedicated to awakening the Hebrews, preparing the world for the arrival of the Messiah. And today we are looking at a confirmation, and we are focusing on Europeans, their writings and their monuments that confirm that the Hebrews were black people, or they were Negroes. If you say a black person is a Negro, and then you are also saying that the original Hebrews were black people, and therefore they were Negroes. If you are awakening the Hebrews, you need to be very careful, because a lot of people are sensitive, and their sensitivity is based upon deception and misinformation. Um, the educational system doesn't teach them about black history. Their church is not a church. Um, there are a lot of synagogue of Satan. And there are churches that are not churches. They are based upon supremacy mindset. They are not based upon biblical facts. The churches teach doctrines that are influenced by racism, and so they don't teach the truth. The Messiah is coming to gather the Hebrews, and the Hebrews need to be identified. They must be aware, and they must be prepared. And who are the Hebrews? Today we are focusing on the Europeans, their writings and their monuments, and that confirm that the original Hebrews were black people. And that is the basis of this video. A gentleman from Ghana, Banche Dakwa, wrote a book, The Africans Who Wrote the Bible. When I read the book, the question I asked myself is that, is it true Africans wrote the Bible? And then I read another book, and then another book written by Dante Faustin, an African American. He also confirmed. He said, yeah, somebody wrote the first 5 books of the Bible, and that person is Moses. And Moses was a black man, born in ancient Egypt, a black nation. And so the one who wrote the Torah, Moses, was a black person, the Old Testament. And then I read the book, the prophecy book, Zephaniah, and the prophet is himself, Zephaniah 1 verse 1, is saying, I'm the son of Cushi, Zephaniah, the son of Cushi. And Bible scholars agree that Cush, Cushi, Cushite, they refer to Ethiopia. And they agree that Ethiopia is a black nation, was a black nation, has always been black. And Ethiopia came from the Greeks. They refer to the people as dark-skinned people, people of burned faces. And that's the meaning of Ethiopia. People of dark faces, burned faces, dark brown people. Ethiopia. That's the origin of Ethiopia from the Greeks. And so Zephaniah says his father is a Cushite from Cush. It means that Zephaniah's father was from Ethiopia. It means Zephaniah was confirming that he was a Cushite, Ethiopian, a black person. And then he went further and said that in the end of this, people from Ethiopia and beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. They will bring their worship to the Messiah on Mount Zion. Zephaniah 3, verse 10. Okay, so today we are focusing on Europeans and how they confirm that the original Hebrews were black people, black men, black women. So we are focusing on number one, Sir Godfrey Higgins, a 19th century British writer. He confirmed that the ancient Egyptians were black people, and definitely the Hebrews who went to ancient Egypt, they were also black people. And when you see somebody with the name Sir, SIR, the British are saluting you, Sir. You are well respected. And so the evidence from Sir Godfrey Higgins is credible. He was so credible that he was given the name Sir. And when the Europeans respect you, even if you are a Negro, a black person, sometimes they give you the title Sir to respect you, to give you a respect. And that's the case of Sir W. Arthur Lewis. Sir W. Arthur Lewis was from the West Indies. He was an economist, black person, and he won a Nobel Prize in economics. And when Ghana got independence, 1957, he was the advisor to the government of Ghana. And he was called Sir, he was given the title Sir. And so Sir means you are respected. And so Sir Godfrey Higgins, a respected white British European, confirms that the ancient Egyptians were black and the ancient Hebrews are black. Number two, we are still in Europe. And here we are going to Portugal, we are going to Spain. Portugal and Spain, two Gentile powers. They are very familiar with the Hebrews. They are familiar with their skin color. Why? Because these two nations enslaved Negroes all over the world, Portugal and Spain. There was Inquisition in Portugal and Spain. And when we say Inquisition, we are talking about a period of persecution of black people on account of their blackness, and definitely it was also on account of their Hebrew identity. Rudolph Windsor, in a book called From Babylon to Timbuktu, he records that there was a time that the king of Portugal, King John II, King John of Portugal, he deported 700 black people, men, women, and children, to Sao Tome Island in Africa as punishment. And it was on account of their Hebrew identity, it was on account of their blackness. And they were deported to Sao Tome Island. It was an island that was developed by the Portuguese to serve as prison for the Hebrews who were deported from Portugal under the reign of King John II, King Jao of Portugal. So the Inquisition was a period of persecution of Hebrews. And don't let anybody deceive you that the Inquisition involved Jews. The Inquisition involved Ashkenazi Jews. The Inquisition involved black men, black women who were Hebrews. Inquisition in Spain, Inquisition in Portugal. So your history is there. Don't let anybody steal your history. We are still in Rome. We'll go to Rome, and then we'll go to the catacombs of Rome. And when we say the catacombs of Rome, we are talking about the cemeteries. The cemeteries in Rome, um, they hold evidence of the black identity of the Hebrews. The monuments there show the cemeteries in Rome, they show the black identity of the Hebrews. So it is evidence that the original Hebrews were black people. We are still in Rome. And let's go to St. Peter's Basilica, the church house built in honor of Peter, apostle of the Messiah. Was Peter a black man or a white man? And the two statues in St. Peter's Basilica will give you evidence. They show that St. Peter was a black man. Somebody went to Rome and observed the basilica in Rome, two of them, and the bronze image of St. Peter in the basilica. And his observation is that the one inside the basilica represents a black Peter, and the one outside the basilica represents a white Peter. And so, why can Peter be both black and white? And the answer is that the Romans felt it strategically important, culturally important, to project Peter as a white person outside the basilica so as not to offend white people who are racist, who will be passing by and they will be annoyed, offended, infuriated, angry, and mad at seeing a white Peter outside the basilica. And so the one outside the basilica was made white to please those who are racist, those who are so racist that they will not accept a black Messiah, those who are so racist that they will not accept a black apostle. So the one inside is black. And so those who are so faithful and so sincere to the point they will go inside St. Peter's Basilica and worship a black Peter, they will not be offended, so they will go inside. And so the one inside is black, projecting a black Peter, but the one outside is white, projecting a white Peter. So that's the answer. We are still on Europeans who confirmed that the original Hebrews were black and they were Negroes. And it's important for us to consider statements and the attitude of Adolf Hitler, European, a white man, and a racist one, of course, the one who was responsible for persecution of both blacks and Jews in Germany. And you remember what he did to Jesse Owens. He will not shake the hands of Jesse Owens, a black Olympic athlete from the United States during the 1936 Munich Olympic Games in Germany. Adolf Hitler said that he hated blacks and Jews, and the reason is that he knew that the original Hebrews, or if you call them Jews, they were black people, and he didn't like it. And so it is evident to show that Europeans, even white Europeans who are racist, including Nazi Adolf Hitler, he confirmed that the Hebrews were black people. And that is the reason why he hated blacks and Jews, because he knew that the Hebrews, the children of Jacob, were black, and he didn't like it. He didn't like the fact that the Bible talks about black people and the chosen people of God are black people. He was a racist, a Nazi, and I don't know the other words to use. He was an occultist because he was a member of an occult organization. So he was a Satanist. May his soul rest in, in peace. If he repented, may his soul rest in peace. So Adolf Hitler, he is a confirmation from the horse's mouth and from the mouth of a horse that is racist. Adolf Hitler, he hated blacks and Jews because Europe knew that the original Hebrews were black people. They were Negroes, and they didn't like it at all. They didn't like it. And here we are looking at confirmation, the original Hebrews, were they black or white? You remember the statement made by Gamal Abdel Nasser, former president of Egypt. He said that the Hebrews, they left Palestine as black men and women, and they came as white men and women. Of course, it was a sarcastic statement referring to the fact that the original Hebrews, if you call them Jews, they were black people. They left Palestine. They left Palestine a long time ago, and then all of a sudden they came back and they were looking white. Of course, he was making a sarcastic statement about the Ashkenazi Jews who claim to be Jews. And that's the reason why he did not want to negotiate with Israel that was established in Palestine in 1948. The Roman Catholic Church, let's go to Rome. We are still in Rome. We are going to Rome. And we are looking at the Roman Catholic Church. We are looking at the Vatican. How come that they projected Mary as a black woman? How come they had Black Madonna? It's because they knew that Mary was a black woman. Is it not the Romans who killed Yeshua, Messiah? Didn't they see his color? Were they not the people who compelled Simon, a Negro from Cyrene, to carry the cross of the Messiah? Why did they have a black Madonna, the mother of Yeshua, the mother of Christ? According to Rudolph Windsor in his book, From Babylon to Timbuktu, there were about 700 black Madonna sites all over the world. And there are so many icons depicting black Mary and black Jesus. And all of a sudden, you see a black Madonna and then you see a white Jesus at the same time in Rome, in Italy. It means something is wrong. It means people are being illogical in projecting a black Madonna, a black Mary, and also projecting a white Jesus at the same time. A myth, a fallacy, a lie, a distortion. The Hebrews were black people, and it's from the horse's own mouth, from their icons and their monuments, and from their writings. And so we are looking at writings, and first of all, we focus on C.F. Ray. He wrote a book, Unconquered Abyssinia. Abyssinia is a former name for Ethiopia. Unconquered Abyssinia. And Ethiopia is the only African nation that was not conquered, was not colonized. And he's saying that they were Christians before Christianity came to Europe. And he's saying that Ethiopia, a black nation, was a Christian nation before Christianity went to Europe. And at the time that there was Christianity in Abyssinia, Ethiopia, a black nation, there were no Christianity in Europe. And Europeans were worshiping idols. And he mentioned two of them, Thor, Thor, and Odin, Odin. They were gods. Of course, the Romans were noted for worshiping gods, whether Zeus, whether Apollo, whether Baal, and so many of them. They were not worshiping the Messiah. And so the Messiah was shocked when at Caesarea Philippi, he asked a question, who do men say I am? And Peter said, you are the Messiah. Because Yeshua knew that the Romans, the Europeans at that time, they never knew anything about the Bible. They were worshiping idols. And C.F.I. Ray says that Ethiopia, a black nation, instituted Christian churches throughout the land long before William the Conqueror set foot in England, and 1,000 years before Columbus discovered the New World. Coptic Christians in Ethiopia had kept the faith. Europeans were mapping up strategies for imperial conquest when Ethiopia was worshiping God. And so that is the evidence. 1,000 years before Columbus discovered America, Ethiopians were Christians. And Ethiopians were Christians before William the Conqueror set foot on the English soil. What does it tell you? It tells you that the original Christians were black people, and of course, the Hebrews were black people as well. And let's look at another author, and J.H. Shaw. He writes that here we're talking about another author. We talk about C.F. Ray writing about Abyssinia being conquered. Abyssinia, they were Christians, and here we are talking about another author, and the author's name is George James, The Stolen Legacy. The Stolen Legacy, written by George James. And he's saying that Europeans were deceived because they were given a false impression that the ancient philosophers, Aristotle and Plato and Socrates, they were the models. They were not aware, or they were not told that there were great philosophers in Africa, in Egypt. Aristotle and Socrates, they were schooled, they were educated by philosophers in ancient Egypt who were black men. And there was a time that it was prestigious for Greek philosophers to go to Egypt to learn philosophy. And there was a time that the Greek government persecuted Greek philosophers because the Greek considered philosophy as alien education. alien because it came from black Africa. So what have we done today? What we have done today is that we have looked at European sources that confirm that the original um, people in Egypt were black and the Hebrews were originally black. And then we can infer it from why Adolf Hitler hated both black people and Jews, because it came to their attention at that time that the Hebrews in the Bible were black people. And how come black people are Hebrews? How come they are the chosen of God? So I will hate you because you are the chosen of God. And that explains the hatred for the Negroes, Hebrews, in Portugal, in Spain, and in Nazi Germany. And so we have proved the point. The Negroes were black people. And that explains why during 1948, at the time of the Balfour Declaration, or even before that, when Britain was negotiating settlement for Jews, they considered a black nation, the black continent, Uganda. Why did they do that? It's because they knew that the Negroes in Uganda were Hebrews. The Abayudaya tribe in Uganda was a Hebrew tribe. And so if you claim you're a Hebrew and you want a place to be settled, let's take you to Uganda. Of course, the British controlled Uganda. They control Kenya. They control Tanzania. And so it will be easier for you to be settled in Uganda. So they offered that to Theodore Herzl when he was looking for a state to home the Jews. And they offered Uganda. And so that is a confirmation, one of the confirmations that the Europeans, including England, knew that the original Hebrews were black people. Of course, we are talking about white people who are confirming that the Hebrews were black people. And you will not forget Vladimir Putin. He is also a white man. 2024 and before, you know what he did? He came out with the Black Jesus nuke. He exposed the hypocrisy and the myth and the deception and the lies. And he said that Jesus was a black man. And he and his people will worship a black Messiah. And so today, you heard from the horse's mouth, Europeans who through their writings and their monuments, through their hatred of the Negro, have shown you that they are doing that. Their monuments and their writings and their hatred are confirming that the Negroes are the Hebrews, they are the chosen of God. So if you are hated, be happy. Be happy that you are hated. You are not hated because of your black skin. You are hated because of your Hebrew identity. The Messiah is coming to gather you from wherever you are, the outcasts of Israel and the dispersed of Judah. My email is raptureafrica@yahoo.com. One word, small letters. Thank you. Share the videos. By a vision and revelation that I received recently, we are to blow the trumpet. So blow the trumpet to all the four corners of the earth. The Europeans are confirming that the Hebrews, the original Hebrews, were black people, and the Negroes are the Hebrews from A to Z, from Abayutaya in Uganda to Zakor in Timbuktu. Thank you. Thank you for watching this video.